Good evening. It is 7 o'clock and welcome. We're ready to start our meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Carlton, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
Sure.
What part?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now move on to the adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes or amendments to the agenda? We'll put that in the board. In that case, we will adopt the agenda as presented here. The next item on our agenda are commendations, student commendations. Let's see. Let's start with middle school first this time. Or do you want to do that next?
Their students not doing it.
Okay, we will then start with the elementary school.
That's okay, we'll go after.
So for our accommodation for our younger grades, K through 3, is Victoria Uso Perfecto. Is Victoria here? Victoria? Hey, Victoria. I know, it's a little scary. Please be okay. Yeah, Miss Book. I might as well be up. So Victoria is a very bright young lady. She's always working hard in class. Every day she comes ready to learn. Vic is very kind and sweet. She is always helping those around her. She's always making sure that others feel welcome and included. Although soft-spoken and reserved, she is not afraid to speak up and share her thoughts. I am proud to have Vicky in my class. She is an amazing young lady and will continue to do great things. Vicky, I am proud of you. Keep up the good work, Miss Delgado. And in Spanish, Victoria es un joven muy brillante. Ella siempre está trabajando duro en clase. Todos los días ella vence la lista para aprender. Vicky es muy enable y dulce. Septiembre esta ayuda a quienes la rodean. Ella siempre se asegura de que los demás se Sebastián si están beneficiados e incluidos. Aquí es redonda y Dios sabe. No tiene miedo de hablar, es completar sus pensamientos. Estoy orgulloso de tener a Vicky en mi clase. Es un joven increíble y segura haciendo gracias cosas. Vicky, estoy orgulloso de ti. Sigan con el buen trabajo, Señorita Delgado. And I apologize for my pronunciations if I missed it. Good job.
And I don't see the other student, and this is the second time, so we'll take this back and give it to them there.
Okay. Then
We're ready.
middle school is ready. Great.
Our middle school student of the month is Darlene Antunes Martinez. All right, I'll read a little bit about her, and then Mr. Murray will read the rest. So, from Mrs. Davis, Darlene is such a bright spot in my daily routine. She's always smiling, always says hello in passing, and tells me to have a good day every day. She's a positive force in her group. Darlene is a positive role model that other people aspire to be. Her positive attitude and kindness towards others is unmatched at her age. Darlene is destined for great things. Keep smiling, Darlene. And from Mrs. Cuevas, it's been an honor to have Darlene in class this year. She's always willing to work hard and help others on her way to success. Darlene is who we mean when we mention good human behaviors. She's willing to stand up for others, be a voice for those who need it, and encourage everyone to be kind. NMS is fortunate to have Darlene. She helps us all to be better humans.
Y traduzco esto y la señora Dayton. Darlene es la estudiante que siempre está dispuesta a ayudar a los demás. Siempre llega a clase con una sonrisa. Ella es una luz en mi salón de clases. La señora Hill es respetuosa, llena de historias divertidas y siempre busca formas de ayudar y mejorar la vida diaria de los demás. La señora Davis, Darlene es un punto brillante en mi rutina diaria. Es un modelo positivo que otras personas aspiran a ser. Su actitud positiva y amabilidad hacia los demás no tiene comparación a su edad. Y por fin de la señora Cuevas, Darlene es a quien nos referimos cuando mencionamos buenos humanos. Está dispuesta a defender a los demás, ser una voz para quienes la necesitan y animar a todos a ser amables. Nissa Middle School, la escuela Nissa Middle, tiene la suerte de tener a Darlene como estudiante. Ella nos ayuda a todos a ser mejores humanos. Felicidades.
Yes, we'll go back to the elementary school.
We had one slip in, so we're gonna grab her really fast. Olivia, you wanna come up here, please? Okay, Olivia is one of the kindest, most compassionate students that we have. She also strives for excellence in all of her work. She works hard to study tirelessly for the spelling bee. This year she was the 5th grade runner-up to go to the bee, as well as last year she was the 5th grade runner-up to go to the bee. She exemplifies safe, respectful, and responsible both in class and around the school. She is also a member of our 5th grade leadership team and is always helping anyone who needs help. She has a pure joy to be at school each and every day. Thank you for being a role model for all of our students, Olivia. Congratulations.
We will go to our high school.
All right. Did he cut? Spencer. All right, our student of the month is Spencer Romans. Okay, Spencer. This is from Mr. Kirkshank. Spencer Romans, a former president and reporter of the Nissa FFA chapter, currently serves as the Oregon FFA State Vice President, representing our organization statewide. This role demands dedication and commitment to advancing the agricultural education, which Spencer has undertaken for the next year. During his tenure here at Nissa, with Nissa FFA, Spencer participated in several activities, including attending the Washington Leadership Conference, earning his FFA state degree, and competing in farm business management on the national level. Additionally, he showcases talents beyond the classroom by participating in musical performances and showing a steer at the Malheur County Fair. I acknowledge Spencer's accomplishments and hope to see continued growth and dedication to agricultural education as he serves in his current role as Oregon FFA State Vice President. And then Mr. Jackman says, Spencer Romans is currently a senior with a 3.93 GPA in spite of taking many advanced classes including college writing, probability and statistics, Spanish biliteracy, ag leadership, Math 1 Step 12, physics, and pre-calculus. He also competes in athletics including tennis and cross country and has excelled in FFA. Spencer is also our first student who has qualified for the biliteracy seal on his diploma. And has just returned from State Leadership Conference where he does serve as the FFA Vice President for the states. He exemplifies respect and hard work. His caring and inclusive approach to others is amazing. Spencer truly inspires and uplifts all those around him in a way that makes our school a better place. Oh, and you should see him dance. He's at all the dances. He's the one leading all the dances, so he gets the crowd going. So, Spencer, congratulations. Thank you. We also have the community member and the
certificate of appreciation, so they could stop worrying why they're here, because I didn't tell them why, but Brooke and Jimmy Walker, if you would please come on up. All right, so I made the recommendation, so of course I had to write something up for that. So, myself and Mr. Vickers wrote this. So, as AD at Nissa High School, the Walker family has always offered support or assistance in any activities, events, or other necessary tasks. Since COVID, our athletic department has not had an athletic trainer due to factors out of our control. And U.S. School Board, we are exploring different options for next year. Jimmy has volunteered his time and expertise in different activities as he specializes in orthopedics. And as you know, of course, our athletes encounter bumps, bruises, and other non-life-threatening injuries throughout the year. Time to time, Jimmy has saved myself and other student athletes, sometimes opposing athletes, with parents' permission, of course, to receive treatment or seek advice from Mr. Jimmy Walker regarding their injuries, bumps, or bruises. His wife, Brooke Walker, is the first to volunteer her time, effort, or delicious homemade cookies to our coaches, athletes, and programs. Brooke has also helped myself and Mr. Vickers during interview processes as our community member. You'll also find them at pretty much every sport event, cheering on their kids and all the Nissa student athletes while participating. They're always encouraging and positive to every person they encounter and want what is best for Nissa. And I'll let Mr. Vickers read this next part for Bailey, because this also includes him too.
Yes, there's some, we should have told him to come too, I forgot to text him, but there's some Bailey, he also volunteered to help our golf program, and he was always there ready to go, always wanted to compete against me. He said he would beat me, but he never really did. So, but he walked miles and miles during tournaments. I think at the last tournaments that we walked together was like 10 miles of just following the kids around, and if you've seen high school golf, we're following them around. Yeah. He's always there to help with offering helpful tips between holes, and he's always the positive one and looks for ways to help our golfers. So, the Walker family.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and lastly, we have the staff member of the month, and this is going to Ellie Cleaver. Ellie, all right, so Ellie Cleaver, Mr. Jackman had this to say about Ellie. Ellie's positive energy is the highlight of our morning routine, whether at the front door greeting students or passing by the office to say hi. Her heartfelt greeting and enthusiasm makes me and our whole school smile. Ellie has excellent rapport with students, is caring and compassionate, and willing to help out wherever and whenever needed. I am so grateful that she is part of our Nissa High School team. Congratulations, Ellie. And then from Mrs. Bunn, see a need, fills a need. Ellie is great at living up to that quote. She has helped out in different areas throughout the year as needed, especially helping me in the office. I don't know what I would do without her help some days. Not only is she willing to drop what she is doing and rush to help, she is always there for the students. With a mama hug, a listening ear, or a lecture, she is great at letting the students know that they are wanted and loved at school. She's a bright light in the school, making sure to cheer up whoever is feeling down with a funny story or telling them how awesome they are. She finds ways to help students meet goals for graduation, making sure they have opportunities to get their community service hours done, helping make posters and proofreading essays for classes. She helped the project to make sure that all the seniors had their banners, making sure their senior banner photos were taken. Ellie is not just amazing at work, she's also an amazing person outside of work, putting as much effort into these kids away as she does in school. I'm so glad that she's being recognized for the great things she does for this school. Congrats. Ellie Clayton.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Before I forget, those who received commendations, if you'd like to step into the hall, you'll get your pictures taken. And if you'd like to come back after that and stay for the rest of our meeting, we'd love to have you.
A todos los que han recibido reconocimiento hoy, pedimos que los estudiantes y sus familiares pasen al pasillo para tomar su foto y si gustan regresar a la junta, les agradeceríamos ser parte de la junta, pero si quieren salir y seguir con su noche, están libres de hacer eso. Gracias.
I had these doors open, it's so hot, I'm going to close it now just for sound.
We will move on to item number 5 then, visiting patrons and delegations. We have student representatives this evening, our high school band, a jazz festival update.
I'm told he's coming, but
Yes, we totally was.
Okay. In that case, we'll move on to the 5th grade field trip presentation.
Right. Megan's got me all ready to go here. We've got a little slideshow presentation for you and some student representatives that were nominated by their teachers and chaperones and leaders on the trip to come present some of their experiences while they were away. I'm very excited to show you what a joyful, wet, cold, dirty, tired legs of a time we had. First of all, just want to make sure I say thank you once again to, this is our lovely list of chaperones and our teachers who came. And I will share this presentation with all of you when we're done, but I didn't want to take away the excitement of you seeing the photos for the first time. And some of our chaperones are even here this evening. Carolyn was one of our chaperones here, Sue's mom. I see Donnie decided not to show up. I think he's still mad at me, probably for how much walking I made him do. And I don't see anybody else here. Oh, Rachel, and Rachel Robb being here as well. Just wanted to say thank you again to them. Obviously, we could not do this trip without our adult chaperones. So we were, as you might remember, out on the coast in Newport, the Oregon Coast Aquarium here, the Hatfield Marine Center here, and we were literally right across the street. We had this lovely campus to enjoy while we were there. Here's some of the pictures of the accommodations. We spent a lot of time out in our teaching porches and as little time as possible to control chaos in our bunk rooms, with our bathrooms and our teacher cabins here and our big dining hall here, which you'll get an inside look at. It was a lovely facility and really helpful to us to be able to use and not a gym floor. We've really upgraded This was our schedule for the time, and our students are here to actually explain to you the times that are mostly in black here, which are called our interest groups, our field study, and our evening programs. So we had 3 interest groups that all of our groups would cycle through: squid dissection, marine mammals, and coastal birds. Little known fact, every single one of the teachers who voted in the trip for what we should have, all unanimously voted for squid dissection. All of us wanted that to occur for our kids. You're welcome, guys. Your teachers chose that for you. And wind, water, climate was our full field day study, which landed us nicely at the beach. And then our evening programs of shark trivia and our predator prey activities. So I'm going to turn it over to some of the kiddos to come up and tell you a little bit about each of these experiences. The first one is our squid dissection, and Jackson's coming up to tell you about that experience.
Squid dissection is one of the activities that we did. So one of the things that we did was we looked at the squid and then we opened them up. And one of the things that we learned about the squid was their body parts, like what they were called. What I enjoyed the most about it was when we could cut open the eye because there was the ink inside it. So we got to draw with the ink on the tray.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. There's a picture of that down there of a student using the ink to write their name, and these are their field journals that we printed and had to go around with them throughout the experience. And I was going to give some of them to you, but I'm telling you, they're pretty gross from having gone around with the kids the whole entire time. But I do have them if you would like to see them. Next up is our marine mammals. Did Victoria end up coming in? Okay, so Victoria was going to talk to us about marine mammals, but I have her thoughts here, so I'll share them with you. One thing we did was to compare the body of a mammal and a fish. One thing that we learned is that it's tough to survive in the ocean, but it is possible. And one thing she enjoyed the most was that the ocean, going to the ocean when she got to touch and the ocean fluttering with life around her, she said. I thought that was very nice, vivid writing. Some other things we did that I personally enjoyed was the ARC, VARC, ARC activity, where we had to call out and try to find our mate. But all of the words just were the word ARC with a different letter at the beginning. So we would be walking up to each other, ARC, 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 ARC. It was very funny. So then we have our coastal birds. Ariel's going to come up and talk to us about our coastal birds interest group.
Coastal birds is one of the interest groups we did while we were at OMSI. During coastal birds, we got to go on a hike to go look for different types of birds. When we went on our hike, we played bird bingo. We got to learn about different types of birds. Other groups got to practice picking up grass and rocks with different types of beaks. We also got to learn about bird habitats. One thing I enjoyed was the bird bingo game and the hike. When we went on the hike, we got to go see sea lions and a starfish. That day when my group did coastal birds, we got to go to the beach. When we got back to OMSI, after everything, we had walked 9 miles that day.
9. Wow. You heard it, 9. We were very tired. This is an example of the groups trying to pick up different materials with the beaks and talking about adaptations and life cycles and natural selection with it. It was really cool. Next up, we have Oliver and Rosie are going to come up and talk to you about our wind, water, and climate field study, which was a full day study. You guys ready? Come on up.
Wind, water, and climate was our field study at OMSI Camp Gray. First, we drew a map of the coastline. We drew Camp Gray, the old dunes, the Flacian Plain, Rocks, the Ford Dune, and the beach. Then we went on a hike to the beach. We stopped when the ground changed from sand to dirt to sand and so on. We checked how many layers there were in the ground. One thing I enjoyed was getting to check how many layers there were in the ground. Another thing we did was on our hike, and the winner was it. That was a really fun hike. I really enjoyed it.
Without fail, one of the top memories for adults and for the students was the solo hike. They were sent off on their own for a stretch of about a quarter of a mile. And they all came back saying that was one of their favorite things. They were just completely alone in the wilderness. It was a straight shot, don't worry. No crossing paths, no harm or foul there, but it was just really nice to hear that. It was us unplugged and them appreciating that the most. Then we got into our nighttime activities, so it got competitive and spicy. Emmanuel Lazo was going to come join us for that, but it looks like he hasn't joined us quite yet. So I'll share with you that one thing we did was play a game called Predator Prey. They explained how to play the game. So some would be predators and some would be prey, and you would get on teams and basically follow the pyramid of species here. So you could only go capture someone who was smaller than you and try to make it out alive. And then over time, so we start off with like some sockeye salmon and some adult. Serenity was the orca. She was the top of the pyramid, and they had to go run after each other like they were a school of fish, and it was hilarious to watch. And very amazing at some speed and skills of some of the kiddos to get away. There's Carolyn psyching up the troops just right there. And then last but not least, our nighttime activity, the second night, conveniently inside, because that is only when it started pouring rain, thankfully, was the second night there, was shark trivia. And Sue's going to bring us a little bit of information about shark trivia.
So something we did was shark trivia. There were about 12 groups in the shark trivia. I enjoyed the shark trivia because there were so many questions and they were so fun. We learned that there are a few different types of sharks in the state from it, though I forgot which ones they were.
There are a few specific to Oregon, and you know what, Sue? I forgot exactly which ones they were too. But I know that Google will help me when I need it. But it was very cool to learn all that information, and this is the inside of the dining room. They got into that, but they were also really, really tired. We had indoor s'mores that night, and then we went to bed, and we were hitting the road the next day. But last but not least, I'm sure the highlight of the trip is we decided not to go back and do rest time when it was allowed in the schedule, and instead opted for the beach time option. So Elizabeth is going to come up and tell you about everybody's favorite dry activity that we had.
Some of the things we did in the beach was play in the sand, play with the water, and we got to get wet a little wet. Something we learned was about the tide. What I enjoyed the most was to get wet with friends.
As you can see, we had like an absolute perfect Oregon coast day. We had some good juju going, and there's something special about, I'm standing here at the front of this long line of our students, and excuse me if I get a little emotional, but watching them walk down the beach and have this experience and just the complete joy of being able to experience that, and knowing that this is something really special for all of our kids, but especially quite a number of them, that this is hard to get to. Some kids get to go, some kids don't. I just really appreciated the opportunity to have that experience, to find little critters in the sand, to search for whole sand dollars, and be maybe a little disappointed when we didn't find them. It was just so fun. By the way, I told them they could only go up to shin high. But as you can see, I was not listened to. We learned about the tide, right? Didn't we, Ariel? And the tide comes in, and where it is on your shin changes, but they didn't really want to listen to that. They were very safe. Lily is going to come up and talk to us. I just wanted you to get a snapshot, too, of what they were working on back at NES here while we were away at the coast. Lily was one of our students who stayed back. I can read Leo's part if you want to read yours. Okay. So for writing and reading, Leo was going to be here with us to tell us that one of the big things they did was about reading and writing about Earth's core and the different layers of Earth, and then creating this graphic diagram. Carrie Agua stayed back with the kiddos, not on the trip. You ready?
During math, we learned about metric measurements and also about the Earth's layers for a little bit.
And then in science, of course, this was really the main focus, was learning about the geosphere, which is one of the 4 spheres, which is the focus of our 5th grade. And then some extra things that they did. You want to tell them yours first?
We learned about the core of the Earth.
And then what else you did is you enjoyed a little pizza and soda and ice cream party. Yeah. And they went and got books each morning and went to read to the 1st graders as well. It was just a nice extra piece. But you said your favorite thing was getting to, I don't want to take your words from you.
Having with the other kids and other classes.
Getting to just mesh those classes together and be able to see kids they hadn't been able to hang out with for most of the year. That struck Lily right off the bat when I talked to her. So thank you, Lily. So just from a boring budgetary standpoint here. Sorry. Well, first of all, thank you for all your wonderful help, Crystal, and really helped me stay on top of things. Thank you to Matt for handing over this baton of how to apply for this grant. So we had $250,000 to work with, and all said and done with the buses and supplies and t-shirts and the fees, we came out at $56,680.89 approximately. So this year, something new, we were able to offer a teacher stipend to the teachers that came, just to sort of incentivize that going on the trip piece. And also to have a pizza dinner in a park in Pendleton, because we realized when we got there, how are we going to eat dinner on the way back? So Trisha Buck, beep-boop bop bop, called up pizza for us, and we were able to work that in on the way back. I want to give you a little snapshot of how state testing is looking. Full disclosure, we went down from last year, which is not the intended consequence of going on the trip. But I am finding it very curious of that I'm seeing a bump from this year to this year, and I'm wondering if something happened last year. We were at 27% passing, we're at 18% here. And I'm just wondering with maybe once we're back to 3 5th grade teachers with me back down there next year, and a stable staff. We haven't had a stable team in place there. Like, you know, are we comparing apples to oranges here? Maybe, right? But just making sure that we're focused on the fact that we have readopted mystery science. We're really familiar with the curriculum. We're also really familiar with what's on the SBAC now, and what we can do to maximize this trip, the programming that we can plug in places we know we can't teach it as well as this program can teach it. I think it's all coming together, and just really appreciate the opportunity to take them. I'll leave you with this one last thing. This is Garrett. He's one of our trip leaders. This was something that was echoed by all of the staff. I mean, they approached all of us at some point to tell us this, but this is the nugget I got him to write down. He said, this is by far the best group that we've had this year. They were engaged, they were respectful, and they appreciated being out here learning. It's magic when you have kids so excited to share what they know like these kids were. I mean, we just got kudos upon kudos of how awesome our kid group was, and really they were so super engaged. Wanted to thank you guys again too for being so supportive of this trip for the last 2 years, and our relationship with OMSI just continues to grow, and thank you for supporting that. That's it. I'll take any questions if you have them. but you don't have to have them. All good?
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. That was
Thank you.
great.
We forgot our s'more stuff back here in town, and so not normally do they take you out but they took me to the store, and while she had me at the store, she said that in their profession, the school that comes at the end makes or breaks their week before their week starts. And so she said, thank you for being in the school that doesn't break our week before our week started. So just to give you that information as well.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much.
It's okay, I'm gonna let these kiddos go.
Yeah.
They're already nervous.
Good job.
And just say thank you to them.
Thank you very much. Okay, that was great. Really, we'll move on to public comment. Do we have any public comment this evening? Hearing none, then we will move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. It was a great presentation, wasn't it? I mean, I love to see that, and I think Ms. Wilson said it is, some of these kids, this is the only opportunity they get to actually go across and see our state, and it's an amazing experience. And so I appreciate the investment that our school is making, not only just physically, but time. And so I just love seeing it. So as we approach the end of another school year, it's crazy to think there's only 11 days left, right? It's both a time for reflection and celebration here at the Nissa School District. Not only do we acknowledge the hard work and achievement of several students at this time, but we also celebrate the strong sense of community that we've fostered throughout this year, and also celebrate our community and what they've done. And at today's meeting, like usual, I'd like to invite Mr. Murray up to provide us with our usual Migrant 1C update and give us some valuable insights into the progress and challenges faced by this important group in our student lives. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody. Following the ODE monitoring visit in mid-April, we received a report from them. In addition to a number of positive comments in there, they also had a list of required and recommended items. And we've been responding to those items with an outline and a record of what we plan to do to either implement those or continue implementing those. In many cases, they were items that we're already doing that they wanted to be sure that we continue to do going forward, not just stop doing now that they're not going to be coming as much. They did reserve their final decision on our status until after they come in June, whether we move from high-risk status to heightened risk status, and if we are allowed to have the responsibilities of recruitment and family engagement returned to us. And so they said that they would determine that after their visit in June, which is on June 10th and 11th, for the express purpose of monitoring just our summer school program. They also want to wait and see what the Crow audit report shows. And so after those two items come in, they will make some kind of a definitive determination about our status, and that'll probably come sometime later in June, a week or two after they come for that next visit. And that's where we're at.
So we should see an update probably in July on that. If they come the 10th and 11th, probably in July, in our board meeting, we'll have an update.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. I appreciate that. So as we wrap up field trip, state testing, and we prepare for year-end awards, we can look back on a successful year filled with accomplishments. This is particularly evident as we approach our graduation on the 26th of this month. And the board will have to be there, of course, but I invite the whole community to that because that is probably one of the biggest celebrations as a community and school district that we have. And the accomplishments of those students, as he's Spencer Romans and everything he's done. And so it is a time to celebrate the achievement of a graduating class and send them off on their new journey with pride and well wishes. So as we bid farewell to the class of 24, we also extend a warm welcome to the incoming class of 37. Right? It is a time of transition and renewal symbolized by the invitation extended to our new kindergarten students to join us for lunch and a tour of the building on the 15th. Right? So we have one going on with our class of 37 coming in. And then followed by the inaugural bus ride on the 17th. So really giving them that experience of our school before we come in. And it's kind of this weird transition when we're thinking that. I think I was talking to Ms. Glenn, and I was like, 24 and it was 13. Is that 37? I mean, it's weird to think about, but it's an exciting time. And so I would say, in the immortal words of the Carpenters, we've only just begun. As we conclude this school year, let us remember the journey this year and continue. We look forward to continuing the momentum as we embark on the new challenges and opportunities in the future. We sit there and celebrate this time, but as we know, as admin and those things, we celebrate, take a breath, and we get back in it because we have another great year to start. And so thank you for your dedication and support through the year.
Can you sing that line?
I absolutely could. Unfortunately, I will not do that, but there's probably some videos out there.
You're not even old enough to know who the Carpenters
Oh, I know the whole thing. Like,
I was once.
yeah. Number 3 on my karaoke playlist. Go.
Thank you, Superintendent Hawkins. We'll now move on to financial report.
All right. I'll try to be as exciting as the last two. I won't. But I do have good news. Our financials are looking very lovely, and I'd like to thank the board for attending the budget meeting last Tuesday. It was a fun, solid 2 hours with you guys. I'm excited for our budget next year, and I will be presenting that to the board next month for adoption. But for tonight, I just have financials up through April 30th. This is everything from July 1 to April 30th. And we start with our general fund. If you notice on our revenue that came in for the general fund, our state school fund has increased quite a bit. That is because they have adjusted our payment to reflect our students in our My Tech High program. And so we brought in a little over 2.1 million, and our expenses last month were a little over 1.4. So that's bringing our cumulative balance to about 3.6 million. And so we'll receive one final state school fund payment in May, and then we don't get a payment in June. And so that's why we need that cumulative balance to take us all through operation to June 30th. So that's our general fund. I always include our local government investment pool account so you can see the numbers and the interest that we make off those accounts and what's been transferred out. The items that get transferred out just go to our checking account to cover our payroll and all of our expenditures. Also, I include the report from the county that just shows the property taxes that came in, so you can see where I get those numbers from. On the middle school bond update, you might notice a red number. We're about $6,000 shy of making our debt service payment, and so that's like, what? But we still have the month of May and the month of June to collect taxes to make that payment. So as of right now, we're just $6,000 shy, but that money will come in, and then we'll make that payment. Again, the LGIP, just account statement and the property tax breakdown that we got for that month. Following that is our early Head Start operating statement. We ended the month of April almost at $57,000 in our ending fund balance. And food service had a really good month for the month of April versus the month of March because we had lots of days of school. And so they ended their month a little over $21,000 in their ending fund balance. And then as of course, I always provide you the approval of the bills report. It has everything that has been paid out from the last report that you guys reviewed. And I ran this one through May 3rd. And I wasn't sure if you guys had any questions on any of that. And if you don't, that following and final report is our April payroll report. And if you don't have questions right now, you guys can email. if you want.
Does anyone have a question for Crystal?
You're welcome. All right.
Thank
See
you
you
very
guys
much.
next month.
We will now move on to the consent agenda, which includes the approval of the minutes of our April 8th regular session, the April 16th budget training meeting, minutes of May 6th work session, and the May 7th budget committee meeting. Also, the financial report and the list of new hires and resignations. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Do I hear a motion then?
I make a motion to adopt the consent agenda as proposed.
Do I hear a second? I'll second. It's been moved by Susie and seconded by Dustin to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor? The motion carries. Next on our agenda, new business, board vacancy. As you all know, Jeremy Peterson resigned his position. I did try to talk him into reconsidering, but he has chosen to farm, if you can imagine that. So the board vacant, or his position is open. My suggestion to the board is that we open his position for applications, that we accept applications until June 14th. That will give us 5 weeks of applications. Then I am assuming it would take about a week for any applicants to be validated by the county clerk and all of that kind of stuff. That would give us the final week in June to actually, when I say us, I mean the board, to actually go through the validated applications, and we can decide if we want to interview everyone or just a certain number of people. I would suggest we probably use our work session in July to interview, and then at our regular session, we would be ready to make a decision. Now, how does that sound to the rest of you?
Sounds good. Great.
I'm thinking that would give us enough time.
So Megan will post it and advertise it.
June 14th at 5
They
p.m.
have 5 weeks.
Deadline.
And when we do post that, I would like to request that we ask the applicants for a cover letter to introduce themselves and a little bit about their background, as well as why they are applying for the position, in addition to filling out the application form. Any thoughts, questions on that? In that case, then we will move on to the NEA contract. We were all given that during our work session to review. Questions, comments? Mr. Superintendent, any comments?
No, I mean, we're extremely excited about the contract, and especially with the board's help on our team. The NEA has ratified that contract as well, and we're excited to this new chapter for NISA. This is big for our community, and so we're actually really proud of what we're able to do. And so I want to say thank you to the board for their work on it, because actually it's one of the fastest contracts we've ever done, right? With one day, but it is a lot of time, and so I appreciate the commitment of the board and the commitment of the board for the classified doing the same work as well. So, but that's, like I said, we're really excited what we're able to put together for our community.
This is an action item, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Do I hear a motion on the certified contract? the NEA contract?
I make a motion that we accept the contract as presented.
Do I hear a second to that motion? Second. It's been moved by Megan and seconded by Maribel to accept the NEA contract as presented. All those in favor, raise your hand. The motion carries. Okay, now we'll move on to the board report. Oh, excitement. The work session in June. I would like to recommend the board that we utilize that work session as a kind of planning session. We have, in previous years, we have had 4 district priorities, and they are still good priorities to continue working on. They are social emotional learning, our dual language program, our online education, and, oh dear, what is that last one? It is still a good priority.
Yeah,
I think
the
it's
last one.
about technology.
The technology innovation was the online, SEL was the last one. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
I have a tattoo on my arm. No, I can't think of it right this moment, I apologize.
We will.
Okay.
We will, at our June 3rd meeting, we will know our district priorities, and we would like to work with the administration and our administrators and build more goals around those priorities.
Equity, by the way, is one of our, is one of the first one is on equity. And then there it is.
Good.
We got it. Book, high five. Thanks for the assist on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would also like to remind us all that Wednesday are the awards for the high school at 7 o'clock. And if possible, we'd like to have board members be there. We are presenting our board scholarship award that time.
And do we need to sit down front together?
What?
We need to sit down front together so we can go get that award.
That would probably be nice.
Instead of jumping up from all different areas and
So
And we'll have a spotlight on it.
from the front to like where we sat last year,
Yeah.
front left.
Front left,
Yeah.
presenters are on the front left.
thank you. That's,
If you could come in like
I will
6:30.
forget by
we
the
can
time
all-
Wednesday comes.
6:30.
6:30, we can get, we're gonna get them all the presenters. in the morning.
Okay, we'll be there at 6:30. And then we have talked about board training. And we would like to arrange that with OSBA. I will check to make sure we have enough money in the budget to do that sort of thing. And I was thinking that it would be nice to be able to do that after we got our new board member on board. So,
Makes sense.
but as I said, I would like to go ahead and work on getting board goals and everything set up as quickly as possible. Because we're ending one school year and preparing for the next. So, does anyone else have anything?
Do we have to revote on the science curriculum?
We did that
Yeah,
at
at the study
the study session.
Yes.
Yes.
Pat, we have a board policy that talks about our board meetings in the summer and changing those to 6 o'clock. And I'm just wondering if our board's following that this summer, as we did not last summer? Or are we keeping our meetings at 7 for June, July, and August?
You know, 7 o'clock works for me.
Those of you that work.
Those of you who work, you know, is a 6 o'clock meeting.
Any excuse to leave work a little earlier is fine.
Yes.
You're the boss.
Maribel, what about you?
Anytime, but 6 o'clock is nice.
I have no preference.
Okay. 6 will be great, then we will begin our summer meetings then at 6 o'clock. June, July, and August for sure. September, school will have
I
started.
think the policy just specifically says those 3 months, and then we go back to 7.
So, any other comments, questions, suggestions? In that case, the meeting is adjourned.